Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to episode 50 of Quickfire Crypto, where we keep you informed on a bi-daily basis. If you are interested in keeping fully up to date on all things crypto, then subscribe to the channel. We put out a new video every 12 hours. So today we're going to be reading an article from Decrypt, and it's in their news/technology section. And it's not really a news article like you would be used to me talking about. This is actually more of a how-to. Given what's happened recently with all the worry about exchanges and people worried about losing money, and when an exchange goes down, and not just worrying about losing money, but people who have actually lost money on the exchange. So today we're going to be looking at some ways to stop that happening. A lot of people find leaving money on an exchange very convenient, and it is very convenient, but that comes with a huge risk. And you want to, obviously, when it comes to money and assets, you want to minimize risk to as minimal as possible, obviously. So this is an article written by Alyssa Hertig, and she writes how to move Bitcoin, Ethereum, and other crypto to self-custody. Worried about your Bitcoin, Ethereum, and other crypto being trapped on a centralized exchange like FTX? Here's how to change that. So she starts off by saying, the self-custody of Bitcoin, Ethereum, and other cryptocurrency assets is grabbing much more attention ever since SBF's FTX exchange unexpectedly blew up a couple of weeks ago in a whirlwind of drama. Users of the former third largest exchange have no idea if they will ever get their money back. With this in mind, many users are deciding to no longer trust centralized exchanges like FTX or Coinbase with their funds. Now, obviously, it's a terrible situation of what's happened with FTX and Celsius and Voyager and 3 Arrows Capital and all these all these companies that have now gone bust. Either through just having bad business models, negligence, or criminality, i.e. fraud. These are short term. Now, the good thing about all this is that it flushes all the, for want of a better word, crap. It flushes all the crap out of the system, and we're left with just the good stuff at the end. And so people now are no longer trusting centralized exchanges because they are the weak point in crypto. We are looking for a decentralized world, and anything that's centralized requires trust, and we don't want to trust them, because if we have to trust them, that is risk. Whenever you have to trust somebody or anything, you are risking something, you are putting something on the line. And when it comes to money, we don't want to be doing that if we don't have to. You want to decentralize everything and make it trustless. So we don't need to trust anybody. There's no need. The technology is here now. There is no need for centralization. And so let's try and get away from that. And If you leave your funds on an exchange, you open yourself up to risk of hacks, frozen withdrawals due to business failure, and insider fraud. Self-custody platform Casa CEO and co-founder Nick Newman told Decrypt, pointing to FTX as a stark example of this. With self-custody, users move their funds in their own wallet that only they control. There are similarities between private keys and car keys. When you give the only key to someone else, they can access your car and drive away. If you keep your key, you are free to do whatever you want, said Ledger CEO Pascal Gauthier. If having full control of your crypto sounds appealing to you, then follow these steps to move your funds from an exchange to a wallet that you own. You should always be taking custody of your own crypto. You want to be in charge of that, so that you are taking responsibility. This is the whole idea. We want to get away from the banks because they're centralized. and for us to get rid of the banks, if we want to get rid of all these middlemen that are looking after our money, that are, charging us fees to move it around, to hold it for us, to, make money off of our money, then we have to take responsibility for our own money, and that's what crypto is all about. It's about personal responsibility. So being, as they say, be your own bank. You are the bank now. So she starts off the first point. So she's going to go through 3 points, it looks like. Create a wallet on a self-custody platform. A necessary warning before we get started is that though self-custody helps users protect themselves against third parties stealing their money, it requires much tighter personal responsibility. Users must write down a seed phrase, roughly equivalent to a password, that can be used to back up all the addresses tied to the wallet. If the seed phrase is lost, the Bitcoin or crypto tied to it is lost forever. Important to note that whenever you start a wallet, whether it's a cold storage wallet or whether it's a hot wallet, you cannot stress it. It is the most important thing, is to write down your seed phrase. And not just write it down, but write it down in the correct order. So some seed phrases are 12 words, some seed phrases are 24 words. There are other individual protocols like Monero that has natively 25 seed words. So learn about that before. I'm not going to go into it here because it's quite it's a little bit more it's just not the right video to do it, and there's plenty of tutorials out there to look at and how to get started and how to do it properly. I would recommend Andreas Antonopoulos. He's brilliant at teaching not just about practicalities like this, but also on the philosophy of Bitcoin and that sort of thing. If you're willing to take on that kind of responsibility, there are tons of options of wallets to use to store your funds. We'll look at the popular desktop wallet Electrum. So once you download the Electrum wallet software, after some initial setup, you'll be prompted to create a new seed phrase. This is the important password we mentioned. Write down the 12 words. So it looks like Electrum uses 12 words, and I believe this is a Bitcoin-only wallet. If my memory serves me right. This is the most important step, because if you lose these words, there's no help desk to return to get your money back. It's important to keep these words safe and offline. In other words, don't store these words on a file on your computer or your phone. So you write them down on a piece of paper, and you keep that piece of paper safe. And you do not let that, and you don't put them, you don't let it ever. So it basically doesn't touch the internet. These seed words, you write them down on a physical piece of paper, and you hide them somewhere either in your house, or some people put them in in a bank vault, a safety deposit box. So there's plenty of other wallets to choose from, but the flow for whatever wallet you choose is roughly the same. Download the wallet either on your desktop or a mobile, and then write down the important words that must never be lost or shared. Important, if you do ever share this seed phrase, the recipient of the phrase will have total access to the contents of the associated wallet, which is why it's so important not to give it out, not to share it with anybody, even if you trust them, because people make mistakes. Somebody that you love and trust, you could show them this seed phrase and they have all good intentions, but by mistake leave it somewhere where it's not supposed to. Really make sure that you do this correctly. It's the single most important thing when it comes to cryptocurrencies, is writing down your seed phrase and learning it. It's the bread and butter, if you will, if you like. Other cryptocurrencies require different wallets. MetaMask, for instance, is a popular browser and mobile wallet used for self-custody of Ethereum and other compatible tokens. Phantom is the most widely used wallet for Solana and Solana-based assets, and there are many more examples. Another option with added security is to use a hardware wallet such as Ledger or Coldcard, which stores the keys in an offline environment, shielding it from potential hacks. And I would recommend personally this way. The hardware wallet is good for beginners, and it's good for experienced people, and it's a cold storage. So your seed phrase that you get from the little USB, the hardware device that you get from Ledger, it never touches the internet. So it does such a very small amount of things, a bit like a calculator can only do. When you compare a calculator to a handheld calculator to a PC, you think how much more powerful a PC is, but look how much more vulnerable it is to viruses. Whereas a calculator is not vulnerable to any viruses because it can't even connect to the internet. It doesn't have any memory. It doesn't have a CPU, so there's nothing to damage on it. So it does a very specific thing, which is adding numbers up, subtracting numbers and multiplying them. It can do those things very well, but it only does those things. So it's unhackable. You can't hack a calculator using the internet, for example, because it can't connect. And it's the same thing, or a very similar thing, with a hardware wallet, such as ledgers, in that the ledger hardware device can only do certain things. And so one of those things that it does is it just signs transactions. It doesn't touch the internet. Your seed phrase never touches the internet, so it can't be hacked, basically, through the internet. Now, there are other ways that it can be hacked, like if you write down, you'll get a seed phrase for your ledger as well, and if you obviously leave that line around, or you inadvertently take a photo, say you take a selfie of yourself and you've left your seed phrase on the kitchen side behind you, and someone manages to see that, some things like that have happened all the time, and people have made YouTube videos as well where they've left the seed phrase out by accident and someone's taken it. Really not recommended to do that. Write it down, put it in a safe place, and just leave it there. You don't need it after that. You can use the ledger to sign all your transactions using a PIN, just a 4-digit PIN. I think you use 4 to 8 digits, and it's really easy. They're brilliant, actually. Now, these ledgers are so good, in my opinion, that I've actually left a link, or I will leave a link in the description under the video, and I leave it for every single video, actually, because people are so worried about what to do, and with all the problems with the exchanges, where can they keep the money? And the answer is in a ledger. Keep it there. You control the keys. Nobody else controls it. No one else knows what what you've got, what you haven't got, and nobody can stop you sending it. It's yours. You literally own it, and you don't need anybody's permission to spend it. You are the bank, and that's the brilliant thing about crypto. So, after you've chosen your wallet provider, now it's time to move your funds off the exchange and into your new wallet, a wallet that you and only you control. First, you'll need to create a new address in your wallet to which to send your Bitcoin or other crypto. In Electrum, you click the Receive button to generate a Bitcoin address, a chaotic string of numbers and letters, roughly akin to an email address. In MetaMask's Phantom and other similar browser-based wallets, the address has already been created, and you'll need to click on either Account or Deposit, or a similar button to copy that address to your computer's clipboard. At your chosen exchange, say Coinbase for instance, there will be some sort of withdraw button on your account page for each of your assets. In order to send the funds to your wallet, you'll need to click the withdraw button for the corresponding assets, Bitcoin for a Bitcoin wallet, Ethereum for an Ethereum wallet, and so on. Paste in the address from the self-custody wallet you created and click send. Often you'll be prompted by the exchange to make sure you're copying the right wallet address, or to confirm that you really do want to withdraw your funds, but the mechanics will be slightly different depending on the exchange you're using. Self-custody rabbit hole. Now you've sent your crypto from an exchange to your own self-custody wallet, so what's next? DYOR, do your own research, is a motto in the Bitcoin sphere, because there's lots of information to go through to become as informed as possible about cryptocurrency. Self-custody could be considered its own rabbit hole worth exploring. And what they're saying here is, going down the rabbit hole is another crypto phrase, although I think it's been taken from somewhere else, but basically you go down the rabbit hole and you find that once you've gone down, the hole is just one hole in the top of the ground. You find out there's many different ways you can go. Once you go down that rabbit hole, it gets deeper and more and more ways you can go. So and crypto is really like that. You start learning about Bitcoin. You start saying, well, what is this Bitcoin thing? What's all the fuss about? And is it just because it's gone up so much in price? Is that why everybody's talking about it? And you get into it, and it's absolutely addictive. And then you'll start thinking about what's Ethereum, what are these other ones, and it's just it never ends. It's brilliant. There are more complex options for self-custody beyond what we described above. For instance, multi-sig wallet options such as Casa offer more flexibility. Instead of just one private key, the wallet is secured by a few at once. That way, if the user loses one key, his or her funds are still safe. Though if two keys go missing, tough luck. Don't even worry about multi-sig wallets, multi-sig at all. If you're a beginner, if this is all new information to you, just totally ignore multi-sig. It's too complicated at this stage if you're a beginner. And I would even say, before taking your money off the exchange, I would play around with $2 or $3 worth of Bitcoin or Ethereum, just sending it to yourself. Create an Ethereum address or create a new Bitcoin address, send it to yourself, then send it back, and get used to just using it with only $2 or $3 on the line. If you send it to the wrong address, okay, it's not good, but you're not going to cry about it. Whereas you might do if you take it off the exchange. If you've got $1,000 and you lose $1,000 because you sent it to the wrong Bitcoin address, and it's irreversible, you're not going to be too happy. Some users carve their seeds into metal plates for additional peace of mind. If the location where their seed phrase is stored burns down, for example, the seed phrase should still be readable. Yeah, there's actually Ledger, the company that does the hardware device. They actually do a crypto steel sort of cylinder, and it's got little tabs in there that you can actually put your seed phrase on. And then you lock it back up in it's kind of a capsule sort of thing. And it's like flame. It doesn't melt until it gets to like 2,000 degrees Celsius. It's made out of some sort of special steel. It's waterproof. It's stainless steel, so it doesn't react with water. And so no matter what happens, your house could literally burn down, and you would still be able to, as long as you could find that little capsule, you'll still be able to access your crypto after. And as Newman points out, the user experience of self-custody is improving all the time. Casa's user experience, for instance, doesn't require writing down or remembering the seed phrase. Anyone can do it. We believe we can continue to improve it in a way that makes it possible for anyone in the world to hold their own keys safely, Newman said. And that's true. When I got into crypto a few years ago, Ledger had only just come out with the first device, and it was okay, but the screen was rubbish, and it was quite expensive for what it was, and I was basically just using paper wallets for everything. So I was using Bitcoin paper wallets. I was printing them offline. I would use a computer that is not connected to the internet. I would generate my Bitcoin addresses, my public and private keys. I would print them off, and then I would delete my history, and I would just send Bitcoin to, when I was obviously learning about it, I would just send Bitcoin from an address that I controlled to another address that I controlled, and then I'd send it back, and I'd send it to an exchange, and then I'd withdraw it from the exchange, just because I wanted to learn what to do and how to do it. And it was a great experience. I would recommend it for anyone to do it that's new to this. So that's what I've got for you. So it's not obviously not news, but a little bit of help in trying to get your money off the exchange, because I do say it a lot. I do say keep your money off the exchanges. It's too risky. And so that's this evening's article. Remember, everybody, to please subscribe to the channel, join our team. We'll keep you updated on all things crypto every 12 hours. Smash the like button if you feel you got value from this video, and I'll see you all in 12 hours time.